What is up, everyone? My name is Ryan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Logan.
And we are
Moral Dilemma.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. It's always good to see people actually come back and watch more than one episode.
And listen.
And listen.
Probably more so listen.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I feel like might have more people watching.
On Facebook?
Well, you think about it. We're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Podbean.
Mm-hmm.
We're on iHeartRadio.
Yes, sir.
Are we on?
We're on everything.
Spotify?
Everything? Spotify.
Spotify, Apple Music,
Apple
iHeartRadio.
We actually have
Some stuff that I don't even know.
website's coming soon.
Yeah.
We actually have extremely long Snapchat stories too. So if you want to click through a 4-hour Snapchat story, we can you can watch the first 4 episodes.
Sponsor us, Snapchat.
Facebook.
Yeah, but here we are.
Yeah.
This is also to kind of break the.
How many episodes are we in now? I lost track.
What is this? 14.
14.
This is also
episodes.
our first episode that I can remember not doing on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a special day for us.
No, actually,
we did
started,
at the beginning. We started on a
started.
Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
then we went to Sunday night.
yeah. So this is our second episode, not on a Sunday.
No, I think it's like our third.
Yeah, we did it for a
To
couple.
quote Ryan on our 4th episode, yeah, we have 1,000 hours of content for you guys. We're getting closer. That's a lot
We have
of
about 14 hours. Tie in the long episodes, probably like 15.
So you could drive to Florida and listen to us talk to you the entire time.
Wow.
Why would
I
you
go
want to
insane.
do that?
I don't know what you're talking about. That's what I do every night, all night long when I go to
You
bed.
fall asleep to your own voice.
Yep.
Do you guys listen back to our own podcast?
I do, and my
I do.
kids.
I'm actually
My kids ridicule me for it.
really.
Yeah, they're like, "Dad, why are you listening to yourself again?"
I don't listen to like each episode multiple times, but I definitely listen to each episode.
Well, see, I get a lot of people saying that they listen to the podcast, and when they say something's funny, I'll go back and rewatch that part just to kind of like get
Yeah.
to
You wanna
see
capture
what's
the
so funny.
moment?
Yeah, because my friend texted me and said that your story about baptizing your army soldiers was the funniest thing he's heard in his life. And I didn't screenshot that.
And what's
text.
funny is it's true.
Yeah.
Some of the
There
best
was-
stories are.
There was
though,
no makeup of that.
That was
just-
my buddy Talon again. He's a dedicated listener.
He's wearing an air fryer shirt in a post I saw today.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he's dedicated.
I didn't even know we made multiples of those. It
Now,
might be my
Talon isn't
shirt.
in your guys' band, right?
No.
No.
He's just a friend.
Well, the only people in me and Logan's band are me and Logan.
Oh. Well, what about the other band?
That's-
Probation.
that's
That's what I meant.
that's Kevin, Andy, and
Kev,
Eric.
Andy, E. Barnes.
No, my buddy
Okay.
Talon
Arball.
is my next door neighbor, and then
But
my
he was-
roommate is Lane.
the reason why
you
I'm-
played games with Lane.
Yeah, but I remember Talon because he was here when the band was here, wasn't he? Or was he on
That was
Sunday
Sticky.
morning?
That was sticky.
There was somebody here that
Shout out
was in town
Sticky.
on Sunday morning. He brought.
Yeah, I brought Lane, Talon,
Okay.
Lane
I
and
had-
Talon to church with me, and
thought I met
you met
Talon
them.
before.
Sticky was our band manager.
Oh, really?
Because he tagged along. Our
Yeah.
band manager. He just followed us
Did I
around.
get him a gift card too?
Yeah, you did. I remember he was trying to talk you out of it. So for people that don't know, I'm in this like a little band, and we played at a church one time, and one of our friends, we call him Sticky, decided to take on the role as band manager, and he didn't do anything. But he
He's still got a gift card.
but he came to the show to the show we did here at the church with us, and Eric was going to buy all the band members passes. Passes, what the heck?
Gift cards.
Gift cards. And he was going to buy one for Sticky. And Sticky was like, why am I getting one? I was like, dude, don't say anything. Just let him buy you one. And he got one.
Yeah, Eric Lane is the aspiring pastor that you told not to go to class online one day to finish an Apex game.
Hey, he's passing.
It's so funny. We were playing Apex with Lane. He's telling Eric about how he's doing pastoral studies, and Eric's like, "Hey, don't go to class. We got to finish this
Yeah,
game."
Hey, whoa,
It
where
was
you
just an
going,
Old Testament class.
man? Yeah. True.
Let's get that
I
timer
skipped
started and get
a lot
into
of
this
those.
content. You know?
Yeah, come on, Fathom, Arnsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a, I know I say this every episode, but this one's going to be extra special.
Is it?
You know why?
We got the extra special sauce.
We have the special sauce.
Mayonnaise.
I actually, under the table, I packed a lot of sauce.
Yeah,
And
we're
it's
just
coming
gonna
out for this episode.
drink the sauce.
But yeah, we're going to talk about,
Oh, boy.
first up, one of my favorite things to talk about is movie directors. We're going to talk about our favorite movie directors, which I guess is hard for some people to pick. It's always been easy for me, though, because
It's hard for me.
I'm a loser.
Yes, you are.
Who wants to kick us off?
I will, because mine's kind of like basic, because I don't think about directors a lot when I think about
Yeah.
movies. Like when I look up good movies, I just I just
Yeah,
do it
you-
by a movie by
you just
movie
watch the
basis.
movie, yeah.
Like I don't typically think about directors. Like I know names of directors and stuff, but I just don't
Yeah.
really associate them with most of their works. So I'm going to talk about George Lucas because
Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah, absolutely.
Just name off some movies to get started so people can get familiar.
I'm just basically I'm
George
gonna
Lucas,
go
everyone's
off
seen George Lucas
Star
movies.
Wars
Okay.
because I mean he's the OG3 Lucasfilm.
Just so people weren't familiar with the name, they knew kind of what you're.
American
Yeah.
Graffiti.
Yep.
yeah,
Or,
So-
sure.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
his
Okay.
first big movie. That
yeah.
yeah.
But the reason I've talked so many times about how much I love Star Wars. You're the same way, Logan.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about that so many times. So
Oh, I
I'm
don't
not
count.
trying to beat a dead horse,
No, not
but
you, Eric.
Oh.
You hate Star Wars.
but those first three movies I think just changed movies forever.
Yeah.
Like
no,
they
no,
ju-
which ones are you talking about? The first three.
the OG3,
Okay.
the Luke Skywalker
Legitimate,
movie, the
yeah.
legitimate, not chronological
prequels
first
or the-
three, the first three that were released, and I think just the way they made that universe seem changed the possibility for movies forever.
Yeah, because not only was he the director, he was the one that created the
Yeah.
whole concept of it. And
Yeah.
so to see this big, huge saga
Mm-hmm.
fleshed out, wow, that had to be intense pressure that he felt.
Yeah,
But to even have the wherewithal to say, hey, I want to keep the rights to my movie.
Yeah.
A lot of times directors have to give up their rights to a movie to get their story told. But he wanted to make sure he still had the rights to that
Yeah.
and the merchandising.
Yeah.
Smart man.
That's smart man.
Rolling
he
in the
knew, he
dough.
knew what he had, even though nobody else did.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think not even just that, but like you said about the difficulty and stuff, the ability to write something like that and then watch it play out, and then just being able to also be in control of that. So like a lot of times movies don't, like, especially in like book to movie adaptations, the movies just never really live up to the artist,
Yeah.
their original writer's adaptation of the movie. But like, to have that control and know this is what I wrote and this is what I want to happen, and be able to make that the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
Because I just think of like even like the Harry Potter movies or something like that. Obviously, if J.K. Rowling could have been completely in charge of the movies, where she was like, okay, I want this scene to look like this, it would be a similar experience, but it'd be a totally different experience at
Absolutely.
the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much more into the writing. But
Yeah.
when you can perfect that and say, this is what I wanted, this is how I imagined it when I wrote this,
Yeah.
that I just think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's really, it's really remarkable when you think about how he's able to capture all that with
Yeah.
adding new elements, and that's another key thing to do in movies, to where it's neat to see new things, but at the same time there was enough relevance
Yeah.
to our stories that we feel like we can connect, because there has
Yeah.
to be connection in a story too. So it was neat to see this new world, but then you felt like you could
Yeah.
really connect to the characters.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think there's a good sign of a really good director is, I mean, you can have a movie written flawlessly, but the execution of like the shots and stuff and the order of how he presents the story, that's like really hard to do, and he did a really good job on that. So, good job, George.
So what do
See you tomorrow, man.
What about you, Eric?
Well, always kind of conflicted, but I guess for now, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Amazing movies, the Batman series. I mean, I just
Oh,
felt like
boy.
it took the superhero movies up to another level. Each one being, able to stand on their own as very, very compelling, powerful movies. I felt like.
Yeah.
I think all the twists and turns, a lot of times, like Inception. There's a lot of things that he does really well at telling stories and making them unique. What was the Dunkirk?
Dunkirk.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. He also did Interstellar,
Yeah.
The Prestige.
See, I didn't really like Interstellar as much.
He didn't
but
do Hacksaw Ridge, did he?
No.
No. Okay.
That was and that's another honorable mention.
That's Spielberg.
Director.
Right?
No, that would be Lethal Weapon.
I'll
What's
look it
the-
up. Oh, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think about
That's
Mel
right.
Gibson?
Yeah.
He's a great director.
Yeah.
Patriot. A lot of great movies.
Absolutely.
Braveheart. Passion of the
geez,
Christ.
yeah, Braveheart. Good grief, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Hacksaw Ridge. You know, so
He's got some good stuff.
Mel Gibson. I'll leave it there. Christopher Nolan and Mel Gibson. I'll throw it up. Mel Gibson.
Throw it out.
You want me to go? I
Yeah,
feel like
go.
you need best for
I'll
last,
go last.
honestly.
I might even say 2, honestly, now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
I'm going to talk about M. Night Shyamalan. And just to throw out
Logan
a few.
took this from me.
We're talking about the first part of his career.
I don't know. Even
We'll talk about that
he
in a
has some
second.
good recent stuff, too.
Not Avatar.
Well, I'm thinking of more like The Sixth Sense, Split,
Yes.
Unbreakable,
Yeah.
Glass, all that whole. I would call that. Would you call that a trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Signs, The Visit, The Village. We've talked about almost all those movies,
Yeah.
and then
Stuart Little.
The Last Airbender. Yeah, and did the screenplaying for Stuart Little. What a guy. And then there's some I haven't seen, but I really like, especially I think of The Village and what he did with Split. I think he just does a great job of picking actors. I think that's one of his strong
He's one of
suits.
those directors that likes to kind of keep a core group every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like
know that
Bruce.
Joaquin Phoenix, Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mel Gibson? Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Mel Gibson was just in one.
That's right. Yeah, he was just in Signs.
Yeah, and then what the crap happened with Avatar?
Yeah,
And
we don't know. That's what I'd like to hear about.
Well,
is-
he has a few duds. Avatar's one of them. Also, The Happening. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have seen that. That's really bad.
So we have a surprise for you guys. Come on in.
Dude, I would cry. Dude. I'd be so happy. I mean, I feel like he even has to accept the fact that those movies were bad.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like, yeah, Eric brought up a good point before we started the podcast. It's like, if you were to sit him down and interview, like, I feel like he would tell you why it was bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there must have been some things happen.
Because he would not
'Cause that just fell
try to
apart.
defend that. It's just
and,
bad.
And I think, I wonder if he was like going for something that like it just didn't come across correctly. Like I think about in all of the like bending things in The Last Airbender, they like do so much like movement before anything even seems to happen. And I wonder if he was
Anticlimactic.
trying to like put emphasis on the like martial arts that they're based after, because like even the cartoon says like each bending style is based on something. So I don't know if that was like
but even with that, you'd think they could add some elements as they're starting to do their moves that you could start seeing some things happening while they're
But
doing
it's like
Yeah.
all these moves and then
and
it
then you could
happens.
also speed up the process a little bit. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, we watched some clips as a group of that Avatar movie, and we were all just like, "That what happened?"
Yeah.
To go back to the positives though, I mean, Sixth Sense, what an amazing movie! That I think if anybody hasn't seen that movie, you should watch that movie.
Great.
That is a masterpiece to me. The shame is once you watch it once,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
it's
done.
pretty much been spoiled for everyone now just
yeah.
because of like popular things in pop culture.
But if you go back and watch it at least a second time, it is really cool to
Oh, yeah,
kind of
for sure.
see all the elements. You're like, oh, that had to be a lot of thinking to say, okay, we got to make sure we
Yeah.
are consistent. And, I kind of watched it from a perspective the second time to see if I could, see anything. I couldn't find anything that was like, oh, they missed this part or they forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all laid out to stick with the story. And that's, I love that. Not that I'm a major detail person, but I do love that they took
Absolutely.
the time
Yeah.
to make sure it just makes the story even that more delicious.
For sure.
Scrumptious.
But
Yummy.
that's what I love about
I
all
was
of
following
his.
you until you just threw that out there.
But I love all of his. Some of his original work, like The Village, was just an interesting concept, and Signs that was just totally cool to see
Yeah.
Signs and
Yeah.
and just having that consistent. Okay, there's these random things happening, but there's a reason for it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
that was cool.
I just always like the way that he delivers the plot twist. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's so cool how we can go into like new M. Night movies expecting a plot twist but still be surprised even though you're looking for it the whole time. I just think it's so cool.
Maybe that's what Avatar was. Maybe the whole thing was a plot twist because you were expecting this great
still
movie
waiting
and
for
it's
the
just
twist.
plot twist. It
Well, I
wasn't good.
mean,
That was a plot flop.
well, I think of his because I remember when I saw Split for the first time, everyone was expecting a plot twist. And then there was kind of one, but I was kind of let down. But then at the end, he tied in Split with a movie that came out, like 15 years
Yeah,
before?
way
He's
before.
tied with Unbreakable. and that just blew my mind. And I remember that's one of my favorite movie theater moments.
Unbreakable. I mean,
Oh
wow.
yeah, I think that
You go back to thinking
I
about
think that's his
that
best
and
one.
how that, I don't know, just merged those, the comic book world into that movie.
for sure. Yeah,
It was just so cool. It was like, wow, that's really neat.
yeah,
And that was well thought out.
absolutely.
Delicious.
Oh, it's scrumptious.
Stop.
Speaking of scrumptious, my first one is Wes Anderson. Now, have you guys seen any Wes Anderson?
No, that's what I'm
movies?
going to ask.
Okay.
What did he make? I'm sure there's
So-
probably things I've seen him.
Yeah. Well, he I don't know if these movies are kind of one's your style, but some that you might have seen is Fantastic Mr. Fox,
Oh.
Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That was a movie pass movie that I went and saw,
Yeah.
and I watched it by myself in an empty theater,
Yeah.
and I had a good time.
Yeah.
It was funny.
See that
I got the humor. It just made me laugh.
that is the
It put a
that,
smile on my face walking
that
out.
is the essence of Wes Anderson.
I didn't
And
know if I was
love that
gonna
you said
like it
that.
or
Oh
not, but-
yeah. He also has Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest Hotel, Life Aquatic. And kind of like M. Night, he also has a group of people he likes to do. He likes to use like Owen Wilson, Bill Murray in a lot of his movies.
Bill Murray. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Just really good people. He has such a dry sense of humor. But what I really like is he has a very consistent like what's the word? Aesthetic. Aesthetic. There it is. To all of his movies,
Filter.
and they're all very like almost minimalist feeling. They're very like all the shots are very clean and very symmetric. Can't think of words today. But he just has such cool things, and he has a really like dry sense of humor, which Eric picked up on, I guess, in
yeah.
Isle of Dogs.
Oh yeah,
I
Isle
would-
of
I
Dogs
will
was
say-
hilarious.
I will say I really did like Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox, but every time, the one movie that I just never liked that you loved was Grand Budapest Hotel.
Really?
I just never.
Wait,
Yeah,
say
I've
the
never
name of that
seen
again.
that.
It's called Grand,
Grand
Budapest,
Budapest
Hotel. And
Oh,
we watched it
I've
at
seen
Cedarville together when we were roommates. And the whole time Ryan was like, just like
Yeah.
in awe, and I was just sitting there like,
See, there are
I
some
really
very,
don't like
very
this.
diehard Wes Anderson fans. He has a new one coming out called I should have looked this up before. He has a new one coming out, but has Bill Murray and all of them in it. But I just really like his stuff. There's one called Moonrise Kingdom. It's one of his earlier ones, but I think that's a good place to start if you're gonna watch one. It's just they're just so wholesome. I love them so much. But yeah, he's one of my favorites. Some good stuff. Have some good memories watching.
I really like the music in Isle of Dogs. Too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind
Oh,
of
his music
the
is so
whole-
good.
Yeah.
He just has a very like consistent vibe that like when you're watching a Wes Anderson movie when you're watching one, which I think is cool. Another one I'm going to nerd out here because this is what this podcast is about.
Yeah. We're nerds.
Another awesome one that I discovered in college.
David Fincher.
Just for some background, when my sophomore year of college, the dorm I lived in had some very like. I always thought of myself as a big movie buff, and then I met people that were like action movie buffs, and they introduced me to all these awesome directors. And one of them was Andrei Tarkovsky. He was a Russian director from the like 1960s, I think. And I know for a fact you guys haven't seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. No. Probably.
But
Try me.
one of Stalker.
Nope.
But I know, and
First movie. No.
and unless you're super into movies and super into like digging deep and looking for symbolism and stuff, I wouldn't recommend it.
Was this
'cause they're-
Sticky who showed you these?
No, it was my friend Riley.
Oh, Riley Oakes.
Yeah,
Oh, shouldn't have said his full name.
yeah.
Riley Oates.
Oakes. Sorry,
But
Riley.
yeah, so my favorite by him is Stalker, and so Andrei Tarkovsky was a big pivotal Russian director, and there's a film movement that happened in Russia where all these incredible Russian films came out in the like 60s, and it's because Russia was starting to like exile people for art and stuff. And so a lot of movies that came out in the 60s era in Russia were directors that was like that's what they only wanted to do. Like they weren't really doing anything else. So there's all these movies with super deep symbolism and stuff, super deep meaning and things that was pretty much people just kind of making artwork through film as like their last thing, expecting to be kicked out.
So it wasn't a comedy.
It was not a comedy.
Clearly, no.
But he has one called Stalker that is my absolute favorite.
Can I see a picture?
Yeah,
No.
Stalker. But it's it's kind of a basic scenario. It's about these.
Now, is
these-
this subtitles or?
Yeah, they're all in Russian.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
So,
it's
have to
about
play some more Call of Duty to figure out the Russian words.
it's about these two guys that go into this place called the Zone in what is like a post-apocalyptic Russia, and they just kind of go on this adventure. But it's very abstract and stuff. But what's really cool about it is that Andrei Tarkovsky for this movie wanted to have very long one take shots. So I think like for the average movie, the normal like time between shots is like maybe 10 15 seconds, but for this movie it's like a minute to 2 minutes.
Wow.
So there's a lot of scenes where like he just has like a camera on a tripod and the actors like move in and out of the screen just focusing on stuff, and I just think it's so cool. So I mean, if you guys are ever interested, watch it.
I can tell you're
It's-
passionate about this. You're getting a little forehead sweat.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a little toasty talking about Andre.
Maybe it's because of the air conditioner. is on.
He's scrumptious.
That might be it. But yeah, I think his movies are scrumptious. But yeah,
Delicious.
check it out.
Not
Yummy.
delicious, scrumptious.
Check it out.
Juicy.
And then I also like Wes Anderson. I also like Steven Spielberg.
I also
Yeah.
wanted to shout out. Well, I can't really shout out the director just for one movie, but you mentioned that you watched The Game again.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
That's
And that was
David Fincher.
David Fincher.
he. I mean, he's made movies that you've seen too. Other than that,
I know, but I'm just saying. When I watched The Game with my buddy Talon Lane and my friend Ben, my friend Andrew at Cedarville.
Wow,
and
you're name dropping.
see,
we
he
loved
made
it.
he made Fight Club, which you've seen, I think.
Oh yeah,
Oh, Fight Club?
Seven, Zodiac,
7, great movie.
These
and
are a
then
lot of good movies.
The Game, which me
Was
and
that the
Corey-
one that we just
yeah,
watched too? Yeah.
He makes really good stuff.
What about your horror movie that you're a director?
Oh yeah, I
my
was,
favorite.
I was going to mention that.
My favorite director is his name's Cody. What's his last name, Adam? He direct all the Gaborm films.
There's only one.
Yeah, you totally butchered that. It's Cliff Graham.
Cody was the star.
Yeah, Cody
Yeah,
was the
sorry.
star.
Sorry, Gaborm. What were you saying, Ryan?
But I was going to say
Ryan
that.
Ball was a great director.
Thank you. I think we should put my first ever film and last film.
Identity.
No. Well, I guess I do have two technical short
Isn't
films.
this the one where Will's in the bed and something
Yeah.
happens? I won't give it away.
We were supposed to post that a while ago.
No.
No, I don't think
we
we talked about it
We
yet.
No, we
talked about maybe in the future.
And this is it. When this episode drops, I'll also link my very first short film. I don't think it had a name, did it?
Yeah, I think it
You're
had
still
a
talking
title.
about Will's video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a title.
It did, yeah.
No, it was just it was just a youth camp title. It just said Youth
Are
Camp
you sure?
2016.
But anyway, for some background, this is kind of my first move into wanting to get into like videoing stuff and stuff like that. Because during free time one time at this church retreat, the whole weekend we'd been listening to creepypastas, which are kind of like podcasts, but someone reads you a scary story. And we got so inspired by one. Actually, I did. That I recruited all my friends to be actors, and on my iPod, like 5th generation,
yeah.
an iMovie, I directed a horror film, and it actually creeped people out.
You shot it.
And that feeling right now is what I've chased after for the rest of my life.
You shot it, edited it, and posted it within a 2-hour free time.
Yeah, and it's
Are you serious?
yeah,
Wow.
it's something. It's something. Great acting. It was also my very first use of a creative transition between shots.
Yeah.
And
Well, we need to post.
I
That.
also have another one that I made for school called Identity with Logan, a little more serious one.
It's a really cute
I
actor in that one.
I got too carried away. I got a little carried away with inspiration for it. And so when I turned it in, I thought it was really good, and everyone I showed really liked it. But I got like a C on the project because it didn't meet any of the criteria for it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I didn't care because I really liked it.
Oh, maybe the pop punk video. We could share that one too.
Yeah.
If we talk
Didn't
about
you
pop.
get like 100 on the pop punk video though?
I got 100 on one that I guess I did make another one that I also used Logan for.
I'm in a lot of Ryan's movies because
Well,
he's
because
just
because
I'm
I
just
would always put it
accessible.
off until like the weekend before, because for background I took this like intro to film class, or actually this was like a higher level one, but we had to make short films and stuff, and I'd always put it off, and people would ditch on me, so I'd just be like, Logan, you got to help me with this. I need to say no.
I've always been there.
And I'd be like, I don't care, you're doing it.
It's like you don't have a choice.
You're my brother.
yeah, I might try to find some of those and link them. They're
Yeah,
fun to watch,
yeah.
but yeah, we've talked about this too long, but.
All right.
Yeah. Next up, we have something that we all like, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this one's going to be a quick topic because we all are going to say the same thing.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Eric disagrees.
Eric says no, so we're gonna let him go first, even though before the podcast
I don't
he said
know what I'm going to say
he didn't
yet.
know what he was gonna talk
I
about.
still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well,
What's the topic?
Oh yeah, it's our favorite video game of the
this
year so far. And I was thinking with this can kind of be our halfway point, and at the end of the year we can do another one with our favorite game of the year.
I don't.
True.
To me, this is not best game topic.
Yeah,
It's favorite.
favorite. Oh yeah, for
Right?
sure, for sure.
So the game I played this year that I really got into was Apex.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool because it just dropped out of nowhere. No one really talked about it. So I think this game came out January?
No
Was it
idea.
It was like
2020?
yeah.
Okay,
I don't think
I didn't know that.
Well, maybe
I
it's
thought
been.
it was
Has
the
it been
end
a
of
year?
last year.
Maybe it was. Maybe I'm totally off.
But it got its grounding in 2020 for you at least.
Now I'm kind of puzzled because I'm pretty sure it was this year.
You're getting old.
I'm looking it up, Eric.
Maybe okay.
Yeah, we're looking for
So
it.
anyhow, if it's not, it's still up there as one of my favorite games this
And
year
it's
because I
free.
spend so much time. And for me, my life is not like it used to be where I could just go in and
It
play
came
a
out
game.
February 4th of 2019.
2019. So
Beginning
I'm
of 2019.
way off.
Hey, it's all right.
So I'm a year off. But anyhow, I think with some of the updates and everything, it's just a game that I play because my life, like I said, my life has changed. So I can't go in and not to make excuses, but there's not been many games I can just get in and play through a whole story and be able to like I love Spider-Man and I love the Left Behind.
The Last of Us.
Sorry, Last of Us. I apologize. That's a movie. That's a
Left
book.
Behind.
The Rapture.
Yeah,
Video game.
yeah, video game.
It would be bad. You already know it would.
So I like games with stories. I mean, but yeah, this year I would say Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and Apex are the two games that are my favorite right
Okay.
now that I just go to. Overwatch is another game. So a lot of times
That
for
came out
me-
like 5 years ago.
yeah, but it's this year.
Yeah,
What's it didn't say when it came out.
It just says what your
It said
favorite, game to play this year.
this year.
See, I thought we were gonna do like our favorite
Game that came out this year.
that came out this year.
Oh, that came out this year.
I think we can specify that better at the end of the year, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at the end of the year, then we can cover
yeah,
everything.
for sure.
Yeah, because I don't have anything for you.
Okay.
What about you, Corey?
I'm going to go with a game that I know Ryan also loves.
Talked about it
He got
before,
me
too.
on it. We both have been playing this a lot, and I love the game Ghost of Tsushima. And basically, if you don't know anything about this game, you should. But if you don't, it takes place in Japan on the island of Tsushima, and it's kind of like I don't know. It's like I'm losing the
Tag team.
It's a samurai role playing game.
Yeah, it's a samurai role-playing game, but I was going to compare it to
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
It does
It's
have
kind
some
of-
Assassin's Creed vibes.
It kind of gives me Assassin's Creed and Far Cry vibes. Mm-hmm. So like the way the like island is kind of like clouded, and essentially in the game, Mongols have invaded and taken over the island.
Which actually happened in real life.
Yeah, it actually happened in real life. And most of the samurai on the island died in this like epic invasion, and one of them gets away, and you play as the samurai, and you're basically like sneaking around and liberating your island. It's really cool because the way they set up the game, you can choose to play the game in like Japanese movie style, so you can actually make it like black and white, and it kind of looks like an older Japanese movie. You can also play the game in Japanese with like English subtitles, or straight in Japanese or English, like they dubbed it and all of the stuff. And just the way the game works, I've always been a fan of the original Assassin's Creed games and stuff, and I like the Far Cry games, so the whole mechanics of it's really good. But it's also one of those games that like I can sit down and play for a while, and I just like, it's relaxing to me because I don't get like, I don't know, I don't get like super like Call of Duty I get angry at, and then I want to take a break.
Relax and slicing somebody.
It is. It
Oh,
is. It's really
yeah,
in a
just go
weird
over
way.
here and slice
in
a couple
weird-
people.
See, Phantom
I
Arnsworth
feel
has
so
played it.
relieved now.
Do you feel relaxed when you play it?
Most sometimes.
Yeah, it's just
If I
a
can
gorgeous
quote
island.
Adam, I thought he told me that it was busy. He was like, everything moves. Everything's like
Yeah, but
Well, just the environment. was
Adam's saying that the
really
environment is
just
very
super
over.
I'm strolling
detailed.
down the road and there's some people I need
It's-
to kill.
I will
Slash. Whoa, this is relaxing.
I I will say it's a very beautiful game. It's visually appealing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And also, I really like.
By the way, this is the people that made Infamous, right?
yeah,
Soccer
Yes.
and
soccer
Sly
games.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Well, Infamous games were great. Infamous
Yeah.
1 and 2. I love these games.
But the one last thing,
And Second Son.
First
Yep.
Light,
a ton. Yeah, a
First
ton
Light.
of good games. But another thing that I really like is in most games, like RPGs and stuff, they do, like whenever they do the maps, they always put like the guide down. You can see everything on a mini map and like whatever. And there is a mini map in the game, but the way you unlock it, it's like it's supposed to be like spiritual, and you like swipe on the touchpad, and it like the wind blows through.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And like you have to follow the wind. It doesn't give you like a direct like straight line path, like run this way and show up here. And you can't even see, like if you switch to your mini map, you can see like the general direction of where the thing is, but you don't see it in your screen while
Yeah.
you're playing. So you can't like be looking at this point on the map
See,
in the
that's
screen.
that's one of my favorite things about it because they know that their game is dang gorgeous and delicious, and
That's
they
the word of the day
so
right there.
yeah.
Scrumptious.
For some video games, they like to put a lot of information on your screen, like your health and your objective and which part of the story you're on, and like a compass or whatever. But Ghost of Tsushima knows that they just want you looking at the scenery. So
Yeah.
whenever
I like
you're
that intuitive
exploring,
control.
oh yeah,
or that-
Yeah.
whenever you're exploring, the only thing guiding you is the direction the wind is moving, and you can see it like in the trees, and like sometimes you'll see like little wind animation or whatever. But
no HUD.
it's no heads up display at all.
Yeah,
so
and-
it's like you're watching a movie.
And the health bar isn't always there, right? It's
Only
just
when you get in
you're-
fights, yeah.
when you get in fights, and it's really small in the bottom left corner. So it's not like a big.
Simplistic.
Ryan,
Yeah, it's simplistic.
do you, when you walk outside now, do you try to follow the wind?
Oh yeah, that's how I got here.
Just a breeze in your room, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's why I was a little late today because I was following the wind.
That
And it
makes me think of.
took me to Wendy's.
Anybody ever play Shadow of Colossus?
Oh yeah,
That game.
that's
is
another
awesome.
really
Ryan,
really
that
good
was
game.
But that has a-
stupidest
has
thing I've ever heard in my life.
Little HUD on it. You know, like
Yeah,
there's
no,
little
it's
information.
very that's very similar to how this is. But yeah.
So I don't really have a game because I'll be honest, I haven't played many games this.
You've been a TV guy this summer.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of TV shows, but I am excited to announce my pick for my game. This is for everyone out there who may not be into console games, but you may be able to get into this. But I recently re-downloaded the remake of Peggle called Peggle Blast.
Peggle
It's a
Blast.
phone app, so check out Peggle Blast. It's a banger.
You have to pay for that.
No, it's free. I'm looking at it
In-app
right
purchases though.
now. Huh? No.
Oh, there we go.
Editor's Choice Award. But anyway, it's like what's that game? It's like not Pong, but it's like where oh man, what is that game called? Where you bounce the ball off your platform and break the bricks?
Breakout.
Breakout?
Brick Breaker.
It's like a modern version of Brick Breaker Breakout. But for those of you who aren't into console games, want a nice time passing game to play, Peggle Blast.
Yeah,
Check her
that's a
out.
good game. I remember playing that back in the day.
Remember, our dad used to play that all the time. That's all I'm going to say on the video games. Maybe at the end of the year, I'll get back into it when I get back on campus. So
Yeah.
I want to get your dad back into video games.
my dad used to be a great gamer.
It's been what, probably 15.
I'm just going to show up at your
17
house,
years.
pull out a PS2,
My
kick it old
our
school.
dad, Ryan and I's dad, played, the Zelda games on the original Game Boy. He played all the Jack and
Sly
Daxter.
Cooper, Jack and
Sly
Daxter.
Cooper,
Sly
Jack.
Cooper was his favorite, I think.
Oh yeah,
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank on PSP. He had the first PSP in the family. No,
Oh, so he would like a PSP, huh?
yeah, he played the PSP. My dad's a loser, so that makes sense.
I don't know. He really liked. I think his favorite has been the Zelda games, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he really liked
Well,
the
he's
Zelda.
I remember
He's not
Christmas-
here to ask, so don't speak for him.
I remember Christmas at Grandma's house. He was playing the last mission
Yeah,
of Zelda. We held off Christmas for a second, so
I'm
Dad
dead-
could finish that
He
game.
was beating Zelda, the Minish Cap, on my Game Boy that I let him use to play this, and I was too young to beat it, but he beat it, and he was so pumped in
We-
front of our whole family playing Zelda.
We literally waited to open up presents and do all this Christmas stuff until Dad beat
Well,
this
it's
game.
it's funny because he got into it because I let him borrow my Game Boy SP because I had a DS and it was I was playing Game Boy games on that. But he used to take it hunting,
Yeah.
and he would play Zelda
in
hunting
the tree stand.
And I remember one time he came back early, And my mom was like, "Did you get anything?" And he was like, "No, I didn't really see anything." Came back early because I got to this mission in Zelda where I needed the volume. And he was hunting and couldn't use the volume.
He came out of the tree set early to get the volume in the game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, yeah, that's funny.
That's awesome.
All right, I'll go ahead and do mine real quick.
Oh, I thought
think-
yours was Ghost of
Well-
Sushi.
Yeah, so
Probably is.
I really like Ghost of Tsushima, and
I had no
once
games.
I haven't beat it yet, but once I beat it, I'll know for sure.
Don't
But a
you
game-
dare say Warzone.
No,
No.
but the game I do really like Warzone. But the game that I have beat and really, really, really enjoyed was The Last of Us Part 2. And
You enjoyed it so much that you got rid of it like really
well,
fast.
okay. I didn't have much money beginning of the summer, and I really wanted to go to Tsushima, so I sold it.
You're like trying to peddle it to me after
Yeah.
a week.
Well, I was hoping one of you guys would buy it from me so that I could,
Get more money out of it.
yeah, well, that, and you guys could get a good deal. But anyway, that's not what this is about. But The Last of Us 2 is a sequel to The Last of Us that came
I'm just
out.
questioning if you like the game so much, why would you get rid of it
No,
within a week?
I mean,
he needed the money.
I need the
college
money.
is when you're fresh
He's
out of
not in
college.
college.
It's
He's
a,
at
but
home
I
right
mean,
now.
dude, I
but he
just
doesn't have a
graduated
job
college.
yet. Corona messed up.
He's
do you want
not
him
at
to-
home.
do
He's
you want him to,
living at
like-
home right now.
Do you want him to play with like the case of the game when he beat it?
Yeah,
You
what
want
am I
him
gonna do?
What do you want him to do?
I just think if it's a masterpiece, that you would keep it for a little longer than a week.
No, I disagree. But anyway, The Last of Us 2, I really enjoyed. It's a sequel to The Last of Us 1 that came out on PS3.
Now, is
actually.
it better than the first one? Let me
I
ask you
think that story-wise, no.
Okay.
But gameplay-wise, it's a huge improvement. It's
Really?
the smoothest game I've ever played. Like, there are some games when you want to do something and your character just won't let you do it. Like,
Now, is this referring to what you playing the remastered, or did you play the original?
I
Last of
played
Us?
the remaster.
the remaster,
Yeah.
and there were still issues. that
Yeah,
you thought.
yeah. I mean, the first Last of Us game was also super smooth, and
When you say smooth, is the game made out of silk?
yes, it's very
Silky
silky smooth.
Oh.
But yeah, I think The
Scrumptious.
Last of Us 2 is just like one of the most easy to play video games, control wise. I mean, it's hard, but like you can do whatever you want. There's really cool stealth scenes where you can use these traps and stuff and distract your enemies and everything. And the story of it, a lot of people didn't like it at all because it made some very, very bold decisions in the beginning to some very major characters that people love.
Well, it sounds like they changed the characteristics of the characters, right?
I don't think they changed the characteristics at all. Like,
Also,
I-
the characters that were in the first one would do.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You'd expect them to do the things that
absolutely.
they do.
Yeah,
Oh.
definitely. I think it's. I mean, a few years have passed and the characters have changed, but like looking back on the first game, you kind of expect like what is going to happen to the characters. But the story points that happen, like what events impact the characters. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
Is very drastic, and a lot of people didn't like it.
Would I like it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I still think you should play the game.
So it's a great game, but I wouldn't like it.
Well, I don't think you'd like the story.
Okay.
It's hard to explain, and that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people are trashing it because people love these characters so much, and something happens to them, and then they don't want to play the rest of the game because they're upset about it. But I mean, it's the director of the game's choice to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's their story to tell, and it's a very rewarding story at the end. But yeah, The Last of Us 2.
So in other words, you may first have a gut punch because you don't like the
Oh,
way
for
the story's
sure.
going, but if
Like,
you
I'd
just
say
hang with it, it's going to get better.
Yeah, like in the
Is that
first
right?
3 hours, something happens that no one expected at all. And like when I bought the game, I had an idea of how.
Is Ellie dead?
Dude, I'm not spoiling anything.
No
I had an
spoilers.
idea of which character I'd be playing as, what would happen, and that all of those expectations are just broken at the very beginning. And it's very sad, but it's a really good game. It's a really good game. And then halfway through the game, like when you're like, I think it's like a 30-hour game, when you're like 15 hours in, another huge, drastic thing happens, and you're just like, what the heck? But if you get over that feeling of like,
Man, you're scaring me.
if you just push through it and get to the ending, it'll be worth it.
Okay.
Endure suffering.
Endure suffering,
Endure
for
suffering,
sure.
okay.
So I definitely recommend it. That's why I don't know if it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima for me for the year, but I think it's going to be close.
I think
They
it's
should've
gonna
just called it Ghost of Sushi.
Now, did you beat?
the
Ghost
sushi is the
of
name of
Shimmer?
the
Not yet.
child.
That's more like a
How many hours have you put into it already?
not a lot. I know I probably like I don't know, probably like 10 hours, 10 or 12 hours. But I think it's like a 70-hour game to beat.
I don't.
Really? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
I
It's a
don't-
role-playing game.
Which game?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Go, I don't know if I can pick it for this year yet though, because isn't a new Call of Duty supposed to be coming out?
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
So like that could just completely
Yeah.
flip things.
See,
I don't know.
I don't know if a
That's
Call of
apples
Duty
and
Should
oranges,
count
though,
as a
man.
game of the
Yeah.
year though.
Yeah, I don't know if Call of Duty has ever been my favorite game of the year. It's always something that like everyone. It's kind of like Madden.
The problem
for me.
is that Call of Duty comes out every year, so you kind of expect.
Yeah, exactly.
If
Yeah,
it didn't
sure.
come out every year, if it came out every 2 or 3 years,
Mhm.
I think we'd probably give it more weight because there is a lot of content.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Call of
Yeah.
Duty.
Yeah,
Most Call of Duties
Oh
have
yeah,
a lot
like
of
50 gig updates.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Lots of content.
My entire PlayStation is full of Call of Duty updates.
Yeah.
but I mean there is a lot of content like modes and different
Yeah, yeah.
ways to
Mm,
play
yeah,
the
definitely.
game. So I think that's cool.
See, I would say that if the new Call of Duty came out that had an incredible campaign, because I think the campaigns in the last few Call of Duties have been pretty bad. Just
I agree.
personally.
I didn't even play this one yet.
Yeah, I played like half of it and just lost interest. But if a Call of
really?
Duty came out that had a really good campaign, I think that multiplayer-wise, if I was picking games just on multiplayer, I think Call of Duty would have won the last like few years because I love the multiplayer. But
Well, thinking about it, that's what shifted from Halo, and with maybe we talked about this last episode about how Halo came on the scene, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
then Call of Duty kind of took a lot
Yeah.
of attention
Mhm.
away
yeah,
from.
see,
Halo.
I would be willing to put like Halo 3 because I think that's more story based,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
it has multiplayer that was really good on top of it. But I think Call of Duty at this point is obviously very much more
Multiplayer.
multiplayer based, and then they just kind of toss in a story to
Yeah.
make some fans
That's
not
true.
get mad. But if
Have you,
if the new
have you
Call
guys played the new Fallout guys game that's free on
Fall
the PlayStation?
Guys?
Fall Guys, yeah, I mean,
Have you played that?
Yeah, it's
It's like
fun.
it's like a lot of people are liking that.
yeah,
I'm
no,
surprised.
It's just
I
kinda
haven't
like
even tried it yet. I
mindless.
saw Isaiah play it one time.
yeah, it's a fun party game for the family.
It's like a bunch of people falling over.
Yeah, not a lot of content yet. But yeah, it's kind of like Wipeout.
If you want a
think of
party game,
Wipeout-
just buy Mario Party. It's so good.
It's
you,
alright.
you had to
All
go
right.
there.
I had to go there.
Well, I think we should end the topic on that one.
Yeah.
What, Mario
Do we want to do the
Party's
next
crazy.
one? Do we have time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we got time.
So
gotta go.
this
Well, I
one-
guess I don't know when the timer started because
Yeah, I think
Fat and
We're
Arms
all
Worth
good.
did.
we're good.
Okay.
We're on track. That's what I said. Fathom, sorry.
Yeah.
But this next topic is one that Eric came up with. That I had no idea.
Is that good or bad? Is
No,
that-
I think it's good because I
this is a topic that Eric came up with.
I saw this and I had no idea what it meant at first, but it's going to be fun to talk about. Eric's topic is memories with our rides, with our cars,
Yeah.
which there's a lot of memories people have with their cars.
Oh, yeah,
I know
can I
I
go?
have a lot of crazy stories with mine.
Let's
But
go
Can
around.
I go first?
yeah,
Yes.
go first.
I may take the whole spot because I got several stories I'd like to share.
Let's
If
hear
I
it.
can't share them all, it's fine. Well, I had a Camaro when I was like 19. For some reason, my mom decided to give me a Camaro. It was nice. It was red. It had T-tops. Sounded really great. It had a 350 engine, headers,
Dang.
glass pack mufflers. It was awesome.
Did it have hydraulics?
No, it didn't have hydraulics, but anyhow, it was nice.
Did it have couplers?
So I don't know. Let's just stick to the
What
story
about
here.
headlights?
Yeah, it had
Did it have doors?
So anyhow, let me get to the story, okay?
Were the seats
Because I got
leather?
other stories I want to share, okay? Go on. Stop distracting me. So one day, there was kids in the neighborhood, and they were playing with my T-tops.
Oh no.
And
Did you
one of
run
them,
them over?
no, I
And
didn't
I
run the
ran
kids.
all four of them over.
Well, anyhow, my passenger T-top didn't get down right, okay?
Okay, one sec. I'm just gonna say I don't know what a T-top is.
A T-top is the middle, the sections of the top of your car, the roof,
Okay.
that you can take out. They're glass, and you can
Okay.
take them off to kind of create like a convertible
Okay.
effect by taking those out.
Okay.
So it's not a real convertible because there's a middle section that's
Okay,
small
I
that goes
gotcha.
across.
It's a T.
Yeah,
I
it's a
got you.
T-top.
I got you. I know what you're talking
So
about.
anyhow, you can take them off, put it in your trunk, and then you can kind of have like a little convertible, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool, especially for being 19 or 18. Well, I was 18, sorry.
Mhm.
Anyhow, so some neighborhood kids were playing with it, where they were reattaching it, they're putting it back on, and I thought it was good, and I should have checked it, and that was my bad. But me and my sister are taking off, and we both have our windows down, and we're on Interstate 77.
I think I've heard
We're
this
driving down the road. Then all of a sudden, because my sister getting her hair all messed up and it's blowing in the wind, she decides to roll up her passenger side window and rolls it up. And then all of a sudden, a suction of air, and it just lifted up the T-top from the passenger side, and it started like flipping around in the air like a frisbee. And I'm looking back, and I'm like, dear Lord, please do not let that hit another car. It goes way off to the side. I couldn't even find it later.
Really? You
Was
never
it
got it
busted
back?
up?
Oh, I'm sure it was. I don't know what happened.
You never
to it.
turned around for it?
Well, no, I tried to look, but I had no idea where it went. It just took
It just went
off.
so far.
It went like sky high.
Air
like,
pressure, man.
Probably like 30 to 40 feet in the air.
It's a really expensive
And it kept-
kite.
Well, thankfully, insurance covered it, but I was like, oh my goodness. But that was like one of those stories,
That's
like
funny.
that was a memory.
I guess her
Especially-
hair was really messed up after that.
Yeah. but it was funny, so funny because you think about it. It was the air from my window.
Yeah.
They
And
create
her-
a vacuum.
It
and
created
pull
a
it through.
vacuum, and it just caused lift to happen with that T-top. So it was amazing.
That's funny.
Then there's this other story that I want to talk about. I had this Lamaze. Isn't that what there's a Pontiac Lamaze. I think it's, is that the right name for it?
I have no idea.
Anyhow, me and a teen were parked, and it was when I was youth pastor at Calvary, and I don't even remember who was with me, but we went into the store. I think it was Tad. Anyhow, so we went into the store, the Dollar General store, and we're purchasing some items to get ready for this youth event we're doing. And I go back, and we get into the vehicle, and then all of a sudden I'm looking around, and I'm like, wait a second, somebody stole my car because my radio was missing. There's like coins everywhere. And I'm like, where did I get all these coins? And where's the seatbelt off? The seatbelt's not even here. And I'm looking over across, and I'm like, my real car is next aisle over. And I'm like, we got it in the wrong car. Same collar, same car, but it was just somebody else's vehicle. And I'm like, quick, get out. Get our car.
Get out, man, get out.
So we get out real quick, get in our car, and I'm like, whoo! Because all of a sudden, I was like, when I first got in, I was like, somebody robbed me. Somebody took my stuff. No, I'm just sitting there.
coins
Like,
everywhere.
my other
Robs
car
you.
is over there.
Who robs you and leaves
They
you
didn't.
change?
They didn't rob him. They bought his stuff. They left. They paid in change.
Change.
I was gonna say your first thing is like, I've been
they left
robbed.
me a
There's
tip.
change everywhere.
We took your radio, but we left you gobs of change. So I'll stop there. I have other memories, but I'll stop there.
No, I think you should tell one more story. Tell us about your Cadillac experience.
My Cadillac experience?
one?
Oh, okay. So I bought this Cadillac that's all leather, okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is another story because I was thinking about a different one.
Wait, what color?
I was thinking
leather?
about sharing about my 350 vehicle. But so I had this Cadillac. It's really nice, really top notch. Had all these features. It was older, but it was nice. So you felt cool in it because you felt luxury all
Yeah.
over it. But there's this
Scrumptious.
this little fact. Yeah, scrumptious. This little fact about cars that in leather. I am allergic to leather. Okay, so I bought this nice car, but I can't use it very much because I break out. I mean, not just breaking out just a little bit. I get a rash all over my body, my legs, my arms, like the armrest where I put
Oh
my
my
arm out.
gosh.
It's breaking out over here, under my thighs. It's just, and my back is itching. And so like I had to always keep my windows down or use the air conditioning because I couldn't take it. Like it was pretty bad, so I got rid of it.
Did you
like,
consider
within a-
buying like seat covers or anything? Would that have helped?
Well, it kind of ruins.
Yeah, but you
It
could
kind
like.
of ruins the nicety of having a nice vehicle, and then you put a bunch of foamy or
Wait,
furry seat covers.
My question is, did you know you were allergic to leather when you bought it?
Yes, I did. I just
Okay.
didn't think. You don't think about it going through clothes as
Yeah.
much. I guess I
Yeah.
thought I was safe. Like,
It was like a
yeah,
buffer.
and I did notice when I was wearing longer sleeves, it was better. But who wears long sleeves when you're
When you're in a Cadillac.
in a Cadillac in winter
Yeah,
time?
obviously.
It's lame, dude.
So
That's,
anyhow,
I
yeah.
like that story.
It's pretty
Even-
sad.
I liked how you had like a rash seatbelt mark because your seatbelt like rubbed on your skin.
That was.
Oh,
I
God.
can just see you pulling up, picking someone up. You just look like an Oompa Loompa, all
Yeah.
swelled up, and
I think what it is with the leather too is I'm allergic to iodine. So I don't know if
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a chemical that they use that's similar to iodine to treat the leather.
try to
And
preserve
that's
it.
probably what I'm allergic to,
Yeah.
really. Because I'm definitely, and I could share you a story about that because I had an incident with my vasectomy.
All right, nope, not now.
Different day. Different day.
My
Oh
brain,
no!
my brain.
You told an entire story visually for me just in that one sentence.
I laughed so hard I thought I was going to pass out.
You have to watch your belt.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my belt breaks me out sometimes. So
Yeah.
because of the iodine.
What about wallets? You have to get like a
Yes. Well, I don't have a special wallet, but if I keep the wallet in my pocket for too long,
make your caboose all
and I
bumpy.
start getting a little sweaty. If I start getting a little sweaty,
Have you thought about just getting like a
A
different
Velcro wallet?
yeah, I think I'm going
Hey,
to do
I have a
that.
really good Velcro wallet I can recommend.
Okay.
I have it
You
on
should
me.
see me at home and just
Oh man.
I'm
Sorry.
glad you shared all that because I don't have very many, so you kind of took some of my limelight.
I have a good one.
I'm
All
sure
right.
you do have. I'm sure.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
like
Corey, are
Corey.
you going to talk about what I think you're going to talk
Yeah.
about?
I hope so. I don't know.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, I have two. I bet the one. I'll share both because I bet the
Okay.
one is what you're thinking.
Okay.
Okay, so my first story is from my first vehicle. In high school, my parents got me a Pontiac Grand Am, and I loved that car. It was really cheap, but I've never felt more comfortable driving a car ever since. Like, just the way the seat fit me and like the distance of the steering wheel and everything, it was perfect. I literally have never sat in another car since then where I felt as good as I was sitting behind that car. But I was on my way to Cedarville and going to college. I was going down this road that I didn't know, and I missed the speed limit sign, and I got pulled over by State Patrol.
Oh, okay.
And he asked me if I knew what was going on. I honestly said no. He believed me. He asked me if I had ever gotten a ticket, whatever. And he let me off with a warning. Apparently, I was going like 56, and it changed to 45, so I thought I was going 55
Unacceptable.
still. Anyways, no big deal. He was fine. Let me off with a warning. That's all good.
The story
Then-
doesn't end there, though.
No, it does not. So then, our local basketball team is playing in the like sectional tournament, and me and my friend decide to come home and like watch the basketball game. So we're on our way home, and we're just having a good time. We're talking, not paying attention, whatever. And we are going down this like really like low grade hill, but it's like really, really long. So I'm not even like using the gas or anything, but we're just talking. I'm not paying attention. I get pulled over again. Same state patrol that pulled me over 3 weeks prior walks up to the car and goes, "Do I know you?" Remembered me.
I've just seen you recently.
Yeah. So I got a speeding ticket.
Oh, man.
You'd think it would end there.
Was it like $100 or something?
It was like $120
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
crazy.
But I was just like, whatever. It is what it is. We leave. Probably like about 5 miles farther down the road. The water pump goes out in my car. Something else goes out all at the same time. And then we're just stranded in the middle of nowhere. So
Like literally
like
nowhere.
my car just totally dies.
At least it was comfy.
Yeah. So, well, it was pouring down rain and we
Wish
didn't
you're
have
not
cell
allergic
phone
to leather.
service. So we ran up to this. There was a logging place like right nearby. And we ran up the hill to this logging place to call my parents. And my parents had to drive all the way to pick us
Oh,
up.
that stinks.
And then that was the end of my car. The person that towed my car, it was going to cost more to fix it than we paid for it. And he bought it off of us to fix
Nice
it
guy.
himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, Corey, this second one, to see
second
if we're on
one-
the same page.
Oh, we are on the same page. I know we
It
are.
has
You
to
don't
do
have to
with
say a word.
encountering-
You don't have to say a word.
Okay.
It is the same. It is the same story.
So
So later,
I feel like the story is going to make me and Corey look like bad people.
yeah. So later,
But it's a good story.
so later on, we're at Cedarville. I'm in my next car,
Uh-huh.
and the
What kind of
boys.
car is this?
This is my Honda Accord. It now belongs to Ryan's family. Actually,
Yeah,
Jordan drives
My
it.
brother bought it. Well, my dad bought it for my brother.
But
There you go.
that was a good car. So we are at Cedarville, and we go to a bunch of the boys. We load up. We decide to go down this park and play basketball.
How many boys you say? Probably 9.
Yeah, probably.
In one vehicle?
No,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. So we go down to the park. Everything's fine. I'm not going to say anything about it really. No one had vehicles except me. I was literally the only person that had a
Yeah.
vehicle.
So,
So-
you had like 2 in your trunk.
Yeah, I had 3 in my trunk actually.
And this is not like a hatchback. This is
This
separate
this
closed-off
is a
trunk.
separate five-person trunk. It's a
vehicle.
5-person vehicle.
Oh wow.
So we
Wait,
take.
we should talk about how we got into the car to get there
Yeah, I want to know.
because we packed it.
Oh yeah, so we
So,
loaded
yeah.
everyone up. We had 3 people climb in the trunk, shut the trunk. We had like multiple people in the 4 people in the back seat.
I remember
So-
I was in the passenger seat with one of my friends on my lap.
Yeah.
And then there were 4 people in the back seat where there should be 3, and then 2 or 3 people in the trunk.
Yeah, and then I was
Just to go play basketball at
Okay.
night.
okay. So
Can you imagine a police officer pulling you over?
So, well, we're playing basketball, and this police officer comes to the park and says, "No, everything was fine." She just comes up and says, "Hey guys, you're not doing anything wrong really, but technically the park closed at dark. It's considered trespassing, but like." She was like, I can tell you guys aren't making any noise. You weren't like disrupting anything. I was just driving through because this is my route. And she was super chill, super nice to us. She said, we were like, sorry, we were almost done anyways. We were like playing our last game. She was like, I don't even care. Like finish your game and then just leave afterwards or whatever. Super chill about it.
Yeah.
So then,
And then she tased Corey.
so she was so nice. Like she didn't. People could have been like total jerks in that situation, but we were apologetic. We really didn't know. There were lights, so we were like, if it closed at dark, why are there lights on the basketball? You know what I mean? So we go to leave.
Well, first, I do want to mention that while we were all playing basketball, we noticed this one guy in a truck that
Kept driving by.
he was driving by, and then he was parked in the parking lot, kind of just watching us.
Yeah.
In this truck, it wasn't a police truck or anything. And then eventually he left, and then we left right after.
Okay,
And
so
we were like,
then-
that was kind of weird.
Neighborhood watch or something.
So then we all load back up into my car.
Same way.
So I have people in the trunk. She didn't know that we all came in one vehicle.
Yeah.
So then
She thought maybe you walked
No.
there.
Yeah,
or-
exactly. It was by
So
the school.
then-
We should have walked.
So then, well, it was it's not
Yeah.
like super close. Like it'd be a long walk.
Yeah.
But so anyways, we start to leave. This truck circles back up and starts following me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like oh, we're going the same direction. Like they were following.
Corey was
me.
doing some evasive maneuvers. And
I,
they
d-
weren't
I
working.
wasn't I wasn't doing evasive maneuvers. At first I was like, are they following me?
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, oh no, probably not.
Yeah.
And I just went like a different
was
way than I would
creepy.
normally go.
Yeah.
Just like I wasn't speeding or doing anything crazy. I was like, I'm gonna turn right because normally I turn left here. And I went down and they turned that way, and then I went down this alley and they followed me down the alley.
Oh wow.
And then eventually we just pulled into the school park.
Well,
Stalker.
no, eventually we go. I lived in an apartment at the time, and the parking lot was behind my place. And then, but there was an alley that like went through there. So we turned into there, acting like I was going to my apartment, and the truck just went by. So we were
that's right.
like, okay, we're just going to let this go. So then I go out the back of the alley, and then I drive over to their dorm to drop them off. We pull into the parking lot, swarmed by cops, security guards.
Are you serious?
Yeah, oh, wait, yeah.
Why?
Police, police, security guards, and then the Ford F-150 pulls
Yeah.
up.
So there are
But
three
as
vehicles.
they're like swarming us, no, there were more than that because there
Yeah.
were 3 campus safety alone.
What
Yeah.
did
There
you
was
guys
police.
do?
Well, here we'll get to that. So
Run
then,
away from a car.
so then, by this time, the people that were in the front, like we're yelling at the people in the trunk to be quiet. But we had gotten out, so we were like, they couldn't really prove that like we had too many people in the cab of the car, but I still had 3 people in my trunk. And they're just in there. They're just in there.
And you're telling them to be quiet. Be
You're like,
quiet.
shut up.
We're getting screamed at by these cops, and like the guy in the F-150 comes up. Apparently, it was one of the campus police
was an
officers.
undercover campus police officer, busting
which we
kids.
weren't even on campus.
Yeah.
So it didn't make any sense that they were like down
Was there
where
a
we were.
curfew or something?
No, well, there is curfew, but we were way before curfew.
It was
like
like
this was
probably 10
this-
at night.
Yeah, it was like 10 o'clock. So it wasn't. It didn't make any sense that he was like following us. Then he was like, then he goes, we were following this car and they were driving reckless through town and was trying to say all this stuff and it matches the description of your car.
Yeah.
And like we weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, there were too many people in the car, so like if you count that,
Yeah.
then yes. But we weren't like speeding. We weren't doing anything crazy.
Really causing problems.
Yeah, we weren't really causing
Just
problems.
overloaded.
So then they're like super intense at us. Like we're all kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah.
We still don't know what's going to happen with the people in my trunk.
Yeah.
Do they know
And then-
about him yet?
They thought we were faking, and one of the kids was going to scream.
Just to
And
be
then,
funny.
but then Daniel, our friend Daniel, was in the trunk, and he believed us.
Yeah.
And he like
And
kept them.
I was texting them in the trunk as this
Yeah.
was all going down.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, just be
So-
quiet.
So I think we
they're
had
not onto you yet.
I think we had 6 people standing outside, and I have like technically my car can hold 5 people, so unless they physically started counting,
Yeah.
it didn't look like absurd. But there were 3 people in my trunk. So then, we the,
Yeah, two people in the undercarriage.
yeah, so they're like really crazy yelling at us, but they can't really do anything because it's out on the public roads and we're on the campus now. So they call the police. The police officer comes in that was the woman, and she was like, no,
Well,
I
those-
talked
yeah.
to these guys already. They're so chill. Everything's fine. Just let it go. And she stuck up for us, and then
Awesome.
we got off for everything. So then...
So when did the guys
Wait,
get out of the
well,
truck?
I'll explain that. So I live off campus. So I get back in my car. I was like, I live off
Everyone
campus.
else
or whatever.
goes inside.
Everyone goes inside,
Except for the people in the trunk.
and except the people in the trunk.
And they've been in
I'm
this
leaving.
trunk for probably
45, 50 minutes
Yeah.
at this point.
I don't know if it was that long.
It was a long
Maybe like
time.
20 minutes.
I don't know. I feel like it was longer than that. It felt like forever.
We need to call them up and ask how long
Yeah.
were you in that truck?
So then they're like, you can just go since you live off campus, whatever. The police officer was totally chill again, stuck up for us, said we were so nice.
she had
it wasn't
authority
us.
over the
Yeah, she had
campus officers.
authority in the situation.
Yeah.
So I'm driving off campus and they're in my trunk. And the campus police, all of them, followed me all the way until I left the physical boundaries of campus. And then I pulled into my apartment, but we were still so sketched out about it. Like, I let them out, and then they just all stayed at my apartment for like another
Yeah, they're
2
following.
hours because we weren't sure if they were still following us and stuff. So they just hung out with me for like a long time. And then when it was close to curfew, then they just walked back onto campus and like walked across
That's
to their
crazy.
dorm.
And then he
But
let
it
the
was
boys out.
it was so
Campus police, undercover campus
not
police.
on campus.
What
Like if
is
it was a police officer, I would understand. But it was not.
Was he even called a police or was he just
knows
called a
campus security guard, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like one of their staff. It was they have student campus
Yeah.
safety officers too.
I think he
Oh,
was
And it
trying
was-
to earn some cred.
Yeah, and he was a student,
Trying to bust some
so it
people.
wasn't even like one of the main guys that worked there. So it was
He
it
needs
was
to pack
crazy.
up his toy gun and just go home.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Take
We
his
were
little-
all so stressed out.
Take his
It was
little
nuts.
merit badge he earned at Boy Scouts and just.
And I mean,
So,
the roads in Cedarville aren't like the roads in Cedarville aren't like main roads anyways. Like we wouldn't have done that and like driven all those people
Yeah.
up, like down a main road or anything. We were on a little side road and we were only going like a mile. So we went like a mile down this side road going
I
25
think you're trying
miles an
to.
hour.
I think you're trying to make up for putting people in your trunk.
Yeah, it was a bad idea, but like, I mean, it was college. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta do what you gotta
yeah,
do.
It's college life. It's got to do what you got to do.
yeah. But yeah, so that was probably my craziest car story by far.
Yeah,
Maybe we should share ours another time.
yeah. We should do a
That
part
was-
2. Me and
sure.
Logan can go more in depth on ours.
Yeah, because
But-
I agree. I've
but
I have
I
two
really
really
want
good
Corey
ones.
to tell that story.
I have two really
That's a
good
good
ones, but it'll take a while. So
They
part
were-
2 coming soon.
They weren't as good as mine.
I have some pretty good ones.
All right. So yeah, now we're going to be talking about passages from Titus. So this is going to be fun because I feel like this is a book of the Bible that's often overlooked. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people don't really
I love Titus.
like when they're preaching. They don't really dive in deep with this one. I mean, sometimes obviously.
There should be more kids named Titus.
That's kind of an intimidating name for
We
me.
already had Crete.
I feel like Titus is the name of like a pit bull.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, so who wants to go first?
Kick
We
us
all
off.
have some verses. I hope
Kick
we
us
didn't
off,
pick any of
Ryan.
the same ones because I didn't say.
I'm doing
Mine is-
chapter 1,
3-1.
3-1?
I'm doing chapter 3, verse
4,
1.
and 5.
Okay, I'm doing 10 through 10 and 11.
Good.
So mine is Titus 1, chapter 10. Titus 1, chapter 1, verse 10. Rebuking those who fail to do good. It's like the header. So it says, "For there are many rebellious people full of meaningless talk and deception, especially those of the circumcision group. They must be silenced because they are disrupting whole households by teaching things they ought not to teach, and that for the sake of dishonest gain." So, yeah, when I was just going through Titus real quick, that one just kind of stuck out to me because, I mean, obviously it's kind of a warning to us, but also I feel like it's good for us to kind of take that as like being directed towards us. Because, I mean, I feel like it's easy sometimes to teach things, not necessarily straight up teaching someone something about the Bible that's not true, but just like teaching things, like being a witness, like doing something that is kind of messing with someone who may not be a super strong believer, messing with their perception of what it's like to be a Christian. So I think that's a good reminder to us and a good warning to where we need to be consistent and not just look at Christianity as like a convenient thing. Like it's something that should change us, should change the way that we interact with people, and because we do a lot of teaching through our actions, and I think it's important to always keep that in mind with whoever you're around, to just be a good Christian, do what the Lord would want. So
Well, and to put it in perspective too, the island of Crete was just a lot of lawbreakers. They didn't, they didn't really fully understand the gospel. They were just learning it. So Titus is kind of being sent here to do this major task, to try to teach people how to live their lives for God, for Christ. So, he's kind of going in to be this kind of instructor, and he's got a tough job ahead of him to teach people how to live the right way. It's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah.
And so, he's being charged with making sure people know how to live their life for Christ.
definitely,
And sometimes being a leader is not always easy.
Yeah,
It's not easy
definitely.
to kind of try to teach people the right way to be or the right way to live. Sometimes you're put in situations that you don't want to be in.
yeah,
We always want to strive for peace, but there are times where we as leaders have to challenge. And sometimes that's really worked out well for me. When I've challenged people to say, hey, you don't have to keep doing this the way you've been doing it. Kind of put a statement to say, hey, don't be acting this way. Because it's not benefiting you or it's not benefiting others. And as leaders, sometimes that can be hard. But Titus shows us that it can be done, and Paul's saying, hey, I have full confidence in you.
yeah, definitely, yeah. No, I just thought it was a good one. It's also a verse that I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't read through the book of Titus many times. I remember for class one time we were to go through Titus and highlight some things and make some notes on it. But yeah, it's a good book though. I like it. Obviously, it's in the Bible. Let's go next, Logan.
Sure. I had Titus chapter 3, verse 1. It says, remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy towards all people. For we ourselves were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves to various passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating one another. I mean, it's just so good we all need a reminder that, not to get political at all, but just a reminder that, it is good, good Christian etiquette or good to be submissive to our rulers and our authorities, and to be obedient to those to reflect what God is telling us to do.
Yeah.
And, there's so much hatred going around now, and there's so much worldly desires and pleasures that the world is going towards now, that it's a good reminder to realize that that's all leading us astray.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point to where we get so much of that crap through our world now that it seems like each year goes by, it just seems like there's the boundary keeps getting moved back and back and back. And it just seems like that, the right thing to do now, 40 years ago, that still would have been an awful thing. You know what I mean? It's just that line keeps getting pushed, and it's like, when are we as believers gonna stop and realize that the line was set way back here when Christ wrote what he wrote, or through these authors. So it's important to think that, where have we pushed the boundary in our lives, and where are we pushing that boundaries, especially with the way the world is kind of rallying around all these different movements and stuff. So I liked that.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's cool how things can translate really well to today.
It's a living word.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go next. Mine is Titus 2, 6 through 8. And I kind of liked how I feel like mine can kind of piggyback off yours a little bit, because it talked about speech a little bit, and so does this. And starting in verse 6, it says, likewise, urge the younger men to be self-controlled. Show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching show integrity, dignity, and sound speech that cannot be condemned, so that an opponent may be put to shame, having nothing evil to say about us. And I just really like that, because it's like people are watching all the time, even when you don't think you are.
Yeah.
And I just think our words are so important, even though sometimes we may think they're not. You don't know when you're hurting somebody, or if you're if you're saying something incorrectly, people are going to believe you, and then it can cause problems.
Yeah.
So I just really like how it says not so much that make sure you have sound speech, but that no one will have anything evil to say about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's so, like you even brought up, like political things right now. The way the world is right now, you could say something not meaning anything whatsoever, and it could cause a major
Still
uproar.
offend somebody.
Yeah. And if you use that sound speech and you really think about what you're saying and showing self-control and things like that, and not like lashing out, it can make a huge difference in how people respect you, and then beyond that, like, listen to what you have to say, because if they can respect you and feel like you respect them, they're going to be a lot more apt to listen to what you have to say.
I feel like everyone now is just like we've got like a huge magnifying glass right over top of us, and everyone's just inspecting everyone's move, waiting for a mistake to happen.
Yeah.
And that's a lot like what Satan does too.
Yeah.
I love the saying that Satan doesn't go after the non-believers because he's already got them in his hands. You know what I mean? Why would you?
Yeah.
And he's constantly pursuing the Christians. So I feel like it's important to realize that we are the ones being pursued after by evil, and that it's important to endure suffering.
Endure suffering, but also look at it as, sometimes we look at the things the way the world changes, which I agree. It can be depressing, it can be sad, it can be frustrating, and maybe there will be a day that will come here shortly, I'm sure there will be, where Christians are persecuted even more severely.
Oh yeah.
But is it a time for us as Christians to fear, or is it an opportunity for us to shine?
Exactly.
It may be an opportunity for us to shine. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did a lot of good, and they were foreigners in a country. They were not even in their homeland. They were taken from their homeland. But yet they were still able to shine for God. They were still able to make a difference.
Yeah.
So in these times where we feel like things, I don't have control over the government. I don't have control over... No, I do have a right to vote, and I will express that right to vote, and I'll share my opinions with somebody that wants to listen to me. But there's a lot of things that are outside my control that I can't dictate.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't mean that God's still in control of the chaos. God was in control of World War II, and he was in control of Adolf Hitler. In other words, not that he approved of anything that Adolf Hitler did, but he was making something happen, and through that, Israel became a nation again. Because before, they didn't have a nation, but because of everything they went through, they became a nation. So, a lot of times we think about God's still sovereign regardless what happens. And regardless who thinks they're in control, they're not really in control. Pharaoh was never really in control.
Yeah,
God
absolutely.
was. I'll share mine. It's Titus chapter 1, verse 4. It says, "To Titus, my true child in our common faith." I love that because he's talking about Titus being his child in the faith, that he's been teaching him, leading him, and now he's given Titus an opportunity. He says, "Grace and peace from God our Father and Christ Jesus our Savior. This is why I left you in Crete, so that you might put what remained into order and appoint elders in every town as I had directed you." And I love the delegation here, that he trusts Titus. I mean, here's Paul, a great minister, and he's putting his trust in Titus to finish the work that he began and finish the job, to put everything in order. And I think that a lot of times the great leaders are able to delegate to give other people opportunities to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I would like to think about myself. Not that I'm a great leader, but that
Yes,
I would
you are.
like to give people opportunities. I love giving people opportunities to shine, to use their gifts, to use their talents. And the more I can do that, the more I feel like that's what God wants for all of us, because everybody deserves a shot to do something for him. Everybody deserves an opportunity. And then the more as leaders we can give people opportunity to make a difference, to see themselves as being a light for Christ, that's worth it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little emotional.
No, that was good.
No.
It's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
No emotions, Eric. No, I'm kidding. No, that's good. So yeah, anyone else have anything to say?
I don't
Well, I
think so.
could tell my vasectomy story.
Nope. All right, man.
Thanks for listening,
We're gonna
guys.
end it right there. I'm gonna have the music come in really loud as soon as you said that. All right. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Guess it's not that kind of podcast.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you for listening.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
There we go.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to us. Yeah, we love you guys. Peace.
See you later.
See ya.